Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday morning cat chat. This morning, we're going to be talking again with Jenny from Cat Pads. Jenny's been with us before, and we had such a great feedback on some of the stuff we were talking about. And obviously, great cat pads is a real passion of mine as well, making sure that your cats are looked after and safe and entertained. So we've got Jenny back on again today. Before we get started though, I'm just going to remind everybody that if you want to help me spread my word, the best way to do it is to share content, give us some feedback, leave a comment as well, because that helps with all the matrices and all that sort of thing. And if you're in a financial position and want to help me out there, go and check out my Patreon page and become a patron. Okay, Jenny, thank you again for joining me today. Really appreciate your time.
That's fine.
Now, today we're going to be talking about some of the factors that we need to take into consideration when talking, particularly with you, talking to clients about where exactly to build a cat enclosure. Because one of the things that I find a lot of people struggle with is, well, where exactly is the best spot for me to build an enclosure? So what are some of the considerations that people need to take into account?
Well, look, first and foremost is the safety of your cat. So if you're going to have your cat outside, you need to feel really confident that it is safe and secure. Yes. So that for us is the number one priority when we build an enclosure for people. So when looking around the house, and you can see behind me, we've got somebody who's done one just to the side of the house and included their patio area. But really you're looking at an area that has some stimulus for the cat. I try and help clients not choose an area that might be just a dark tunnel, cement tunnel with high walls each side, because you've really got to think about, would you want to be out here? What are you going to do? What's your stimulus? What's going to be something that you're really going to enjoy? And for cats, it's looking around, being able to see the trees, hear the birds. It's all that sensory stuff. So yep. Inside is great, and always, keep your cat inside unless you can build a cat enclosure or a contained area. So sun, especially the beautiful day that we've got in Adelaide today, it's winter sun is yep. fantastic. So they're going to get outside and they're going to feel the breeze in their whiskers. They're going to hear so much more. So it's all that sensory stuff that will keep your cat stimulated and happy outside.
And there are some cats, I suppose, that require that more than others as well, isn't there? Like particularly some breeds really need to have that additional stimulation.
You do, and having, even if it's not a breed cat, but if you do have a breed cat, choose a breed that's suitable also for your lifestyle, is what yes. I would say.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if you want a companion cat on your lap, it mightn't be some of the more active breeds that you would choose, and yep. they need a lot of stimulation, a lot of owner to cat attention. Yeah. Look, but given that there are the personalities of cats, so, from yeah. bold and outgoing to skittish and all of those sorts of personalities. So choose something that, that it would suit your cat. For some, they're going to be happy lying on a cushion out in your chair and just sleeping and enjoying the sun and the outdoors. For others, they are probably going to need ramps and ledges and tunnels and all sorts of different things to stimulate yeah. them and keep them active. As yeah. I've seen your cats in your enclosures with your Abyssinians in particular, which yes. are a very active breed of cat.
Very active,
intelligent, yeah. very active.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. Now, I suppose, we've just talked about the sun, but I suppose cats actually like to go outside. It doesn't really matter what the weather is, so that's going to be something else that you would really have to consider as well, wouldn't it? Weather protection and that type of thing as well.
Absolutely. Look, when we build an enclosure, you'll see behind me just one with the netting, and that is the most common way of building and probably the most economical way of building a cat enclosure.
Yeah.
But look, you can see the eaves here. But if your cat has an entry point that they can come and go from the house, if the weather does turn and it gets rainy and whatever, they're going to come inside. They're going to come in through their pet door. So another one of the, I think there's a couple of things that cats really like, and this is the bottom line. Let me choose to come in and out. So have the cat enclosure so it's adjacent in some way or got a connection in some way to your house and a cat flap. And let me get up high, because they're three-dimensional and want to get up high. And that's for a number of different reasons, but probably within an enclosure where they are safe. That is for viewing, for looking over the front to see the streetscape, all that sort of thing. For other reasons, for getting up high, just in a normal sort of situation, it's about danger. It's about keeping out of reach from children. If there's children playing and they don't want to be bothered, getting up high is another reason why cats just need to have that choice to be able to use ledges. And if you look on our website and go on the gallery, there's a section on ledges, and you'll see the most amazing pictures of cats looking really happy on their ledges.
Yeah, they really do like to be nosy neighbours, don't they?
They do. And we're at, last year when we were at the Royal Show, we had a picture of some of the cats that we'd built a heap of ledges along their fence for. And a little girl came in and she said, "Oh my goodness, they're my neighbour's cats." And she lived in the yard where the cats were all sticky beaking over the fence at the chooks.
Yep.
So the chooks were like their Netflix for the day, right?
Yep.
They're like the, binging on Netflix like we've all been doing during coronavirus. And she was so excited, but the cats do like to get up and be nosy and have a look. And we're building one shortly where there'll be a skywalk for the cat to look over the fence at a chook yard that she normally visits to collect, catch mice because of the seed and whatever. So we will be building a skywalk so this cat can particularly have the vision of the chook yard.
Yeah. Yep. So although you're protecting them by not allowing them to go there anymore, they've still got the stimulation of being able to see what's going on.
Absolutely. It's a really critical thing, I think, the stimulation. Well, first of all, safety, but to choose an area where they can see something, even if it's your children playing in the backyard. And quite often we've done the side of the house, and then we've done a little tuck around observation post on the back wall of the house. So the cats can get up in that little observation post and see a completely different landscape.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And it's kind of interesting. Cats don't, like, for an enrichment side of things, they often don't need massive changes or lots of stimulation. It's just little things. I know I quite often talk about old cats and how sometimes just getting a crinkly piece of paper and putting it on the ground for them to sniff and smell and experience and sit on, sometimes that's enough just for an old cat to be entertained for the afternoon.
Absolutely. And they also, for us too, looking at building, particularly within people's budgets, and sometimes it's hard to find that extra cash to do this, they don't need your whole yard.
Yes.
They can have a smaller area and be quite happy, but I think as long as they can see what's happening, have a couple of things that they can climb up on or curl up in a nice cushion somewhere around, a table. Or I always say it's great to basically go outside and have table and chair there and have a cup of tea with your cats.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that social sort of time that you spend in a slightly different environment with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about sort of reducing costs and budgets and all that sort of thing, you tend to utilise a lot of the existing framework of people's homes as well, don't you, to help reduce those costs down?
Absolutely. And on this one behind me that you see, we've attached to the fence, and in this case it was actually one of her slatted wooden feature walls, but
Mm-hmm.
quite often it's the fence capping.
Yeah.
And we use small tech screws, and we just screw into the fence capping on your side, so
Yep.
nothing shows through on your neighbour's side.
Yep.
And then we attach to your fascia board,
Yep.
usually, which is the board just below your gutter.
Yep.
That's for side of the house, or in this one here, I think we've gone up from the fence up to the rafter or barge board of this pergola, and
Mm-hmm.
we may have even gone over the top by the look of the shadows there.
Yep.
So we've used the structure of the house.
And the catnet tends to be a little bit more see-through too, doesn't it? Like you don't notice it as much.
It's very low vis.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so popular. I know, and I may have mentioned this before, but when we built our first cat enclosure at our house, we chose an area which is just off from big glass doors, 4 of them. There's a palm garden, wooden deck, barley hut, and whatever. And Peter just said, I don't want to see it. And you don't see it. But for other people that want extra security, or they've got a lot of vines growing, we do use a 50 millimetre steel mesh. And that can be powder coated. Usually black is a colour that's low vis. Mm-hmm. So we can use different materials to suit different landscapes of houses, and we do have to consider along fence lines that it's clear of the creepers and vines, and they might even be your neighbour's creepers and vines, because if the cat, if that gets into the cat netting, it will distort it a bit. I mean, I've got it all growing through mine at home, so I don't usually practice what I preach, and it's fine. But it does sort of just sort of change it a little bit, and it's harder to prune.
Yeah, I suppose, you've got to kind of think a little bit about the maintenance side of things there when you've got those sorts of things. And I suppose too, you've got to make sure that the plants that are coming through are ones that are not going to be toxic for cats as well.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit on the website about toxic plants for cats. If I see some obvious ones, we might mention it, but it's really for the owner to just make sure that the area that they do choose is a safe area, and the plants in that area is something to consider.
So I suppose it always goes back to that number one priority, which is guaranteeing the safety of your cat more than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We spoke last time about some behavioural issues that having outdoor areas can
assist in.
Change. It can assist in. Yeah. And I know, because we've got a number of different outdoor areas, and we sort of swap and change cats into different areas depending on what day of the week it is and who's feeling like what. But some of I suppose the main ones are things like destructive behaviour of ripping up furniture, and they just get bored like little kids, don't they?
Well, yes, they can get bored, but there's also can be some changes within the family situation. We have a lot of young people perhaps starting families, and the cats have displayed some behaviours like urinating inside, and all of being destructive, as you said. All of that sort of thing is about showing that there's a certain stress level within the cats, and the owners get stressed because the baby's crawling and they don't want the floors not to be clean, and all of that sort of thing. So we've had a young cat called Toby, absolutely beautiful cat. He's on our website on a ledge. But his owner was so relieved when we built the side of the house cat enclosure, because Toby was going nuts inside. She was working. She had an older dog called Grace, and Grace goes up and down our street when she visits her mother. So my dog knows Grace, and we know Grace. She's a beautiful dog. And Toby wanted to be outside with Grace. And so Toby was being quite naughty and destroying a lot of things during the day. And he'd come home and go, oh my God, what's Toby done? And now Toby's can come and go outside, got the ledges. Grace shares the enclosure at times with Toby, they're best mates, and all those behaviours have absolutely modified.
I was actually out the other day and I was talking with a tradesperson, and they said that, because obviously cats came up because I talk about cats with everybody, and it's the second time I've actually seen this happen, where you've actually got an older people who have become a couple, and one had dogs and one has had cats, and what they've actually done is create a space for the cats that is near the dogs but safe from the dogs. Yeah. And that seems to be, like I said, you know, it's twice I've come across it where bringing two families together has included how we're going to make our animals interact and become family.
Yeah, we do. Obviously, like our family, we have, and yours, although your dog's just moved from the chair.
Oh yeah, she's still around here somewhere.
Mine's usually on the couch next to me. So it's dogs that we might consider what material we use.
Yep.
So particularly if the dogs get excited and the cats are behind a gate and the dogs are on the other side.
Yep.
We use a paw barrier material, or we use on the gate only the steel mesh. So when the dogs are sort of perhaps scratching, they're not going to
break the mesh,
break the netting.
Yeah.
Or just distort the netting. It's not going to break.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is cats in zones from other cats. A cat's been a singular type of personality. Often the blended family of cats doesn't really work.
It can be tough to break those individual patterns where they have been one owner cats.
It's awful for people. They've had to divide their houses inside into half.
Yep.
You know, and it's really affected their living. Yep. So cat zones is another one that we do. We talk about. That's why we like to get on site, and we are back on site, everybody, doing quotes. We were doing during the coronavirus, which people were, hello.
Oh, this is, yes, Yoda's just joined me. She's my cuddle cat. She doesn't take no for an answer. If she wants a hug, she comes and gets one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Say hi, Yoda.
Hello.
So she's a sweetheart. But yeah, she's my cuddle cat. If she wants a hug, there's no saying no to her. She's going to push her way in. I know what you mean, though, with zones. We have, like our Abyssinians, because they're incredibly high level of energy versus our domestics, which are actually quite chilled and relaxed. In particular, there's one of our older girls who she's actually very quiet, very reserved, very relaxed, except that the Abyssinians realise that she doesn't like them very much, and they give her hell. So we've, particularly at the moment, we're fostering some cats, which has created a little bit of a problem with the Abyssinians. It's put them out of whack. We have actually had to divide the house a little bit at the moment, just so that one of our Abyssinians in particular doesn't pick on her, because she's such a quiet, reserved thing.
We just built one on Friday for one of our clients. We built a previous enclosure for her cats, and she took in and homed one of the street cats, basically. And the other cats didn't like this cat. So she gave this cat the enclosure that we built, and then we built another enclosure for the rest of her cats the other day. So there are two zones for them. We did one recently up in the hills where we did a beautiful garden enclosure, but then we did a small veranda one for one of the cats who just wanted a bit of peace and quiet from the other cats, just a bit of respite, and to be in an enclosure with everybody. It was getting a bit much for this cat. So
And that's the thing, I suppose. Cats are very much like people. Like, you know, some cats do need to have a bit of their own space, and other cats are quite happy to be socially together with everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So it comes down to the personality of the cats as to what's going to be best for them. Particularly when you've got old cats and young cats and different energy levels and all that sort of thing. And the more cats you get, obviously, the more complicated it becomes.
It does. So I remember one of our staff asking Dr. Harry at Animal Expo, we were always right next door to him,
Yep.
went over and just asked, you know, I'm thinking of getting another cat. I've got an old cat. He's on his own a lot during the day and whatever. And he just said, don't.
Yep.
He said, you don't need to do that.
Yep.
You don't need to do that. It's always stuck in my head that no, it doesn't always work out.
No, that's exactly right. And sometimes too, I know when people sort of think that way, that, oh, my cat's getting old, I'd like to get them a companion. Going the kitten route is not necessarily the best way either, because they can be, again, too high energy level. Sometimes older cats together can sort of get along a little bit better because they tend to just ignore each other a little bit and not bother into it.
That situation at home, we sadly lost a well-known cat around Adelaide, Russian Blue Ivan. He was 15 and a half, absolute darling.
He was a beautiful boy.
He was indeed, but he had this calming influence over the other two Russians, which were his children, aged 10 and 9. And then we have the ratbag Burmese at 2.5, right?
Yep.
And I always remember when I was going to get the Burmese, the Russian blue breeders at the cat show said, don't do it, Jenny, don't do it. But Paddy's gorgeous, and the Russians are very tolerant with him. But when Ivan, who's been gone about 3 weeks now, was no longer part of that community, that family, the four of them, it sort of changed their behaviours.
Yes.
And it's been very interesting. Who wants to be boss cocky? Well, guess who wants to be boss cocky? The Burmese.
Paddy.
Right? And Paddy is big and thick and heavy, and the Russians, Max and Zena, are just incredibly tolerant towards him. I'm just saying, you actually can't be the boss. Paddy, Zena's the next oldest. She's I get our dog then to go and play with Paddy just to, rough him up a bit.
We have the same problem here. We've got old Kevin, who's 15, and when they get to that age, they really do start to get frail. Yeah. And Bruce, who's the sort of next male down, he's decided that he'll start to try and move into Kevin's domain already. So quite often at the moment, I'll have one sitting on one side, one sitting on the other, and we've kind of got this bit of a tug of war. And then with fostering this pedigree at the moment, that's kind of upset everybody as well. So
I mean,
it's always juggling.
Even in your own home. Look, the other thing I did want to talk about is often people, and the house behind me is a lovely designed place. Obviously, there's been, particular design work done with the pergolas and with the feature wall and whatever. We don't ever want to take away from that design of the house. It's got to complement the house. I'm not going to build something clunky that looks awful.
Yes.
That the netting is weak, is crooked and doesn't line up. These are the things that we really, Peter is a builder by trade. And he has an understanding of the design and perhaps what might best suit that house and where it is, and what doesn't. As you said before, it's low vis. You really don't want to see it, and you don't want to be in a lovely house coming out into this sunny area behind me and sitting out having a cup of tea and then feeling as if you're in a cat cage. Exactly. Cats behind you.
Oh yes, that's Chelsea there. See what I mean? There's cats everywhere in this house. I don't know what she thinks she's about to do though.
Mine are asleep on my bed. Oh dear.
We've got the domestics in here today, and they've all decided it's their opportunity to get on camera, I think.
on the piano.
She wants to get up high, so I'm sure she'll work it out in a minute. Or either that, or things are going to crash everywhere.
Yeah, it'll be live.
That's it.
Yeah, so I just want to say we certainly do want the what we build be sympathetic to the house and how it looks and where it is.
And that makes a lot of sense, because I mean the last thing you want is it does need to become part of the environment, not the feature of the environment.
Yeah,
it needs to blend in a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's pretty important.
Obviously, when we're on site, in considering where it might be, I mean, this is a discussion that happens on site.
Yep.
And one of the other factors is thoroughfares. All right. So can I get my wheelbarrow through the gate? I've got to get in here, or the gas has got to be, or the electricity meter has to be read. Kids have their bikes here. They need a flat surface to, all of those sorts of things. And if it's not their own kids, it might be grandkids coming around the house. All those sort of things need to be taken into consideration as to zones and thoroughfares, access and egress. Also, if we build on a balcony, we consider egress if there's a fire in the unit and you need to get out through the balcony. We often put a zipper in the balcony netting, just so health and safety. There is a point where you can get out. I mean, it's easily cut by scissors, but you don't always have a pair of scissors in your hand if you're
especially in an emergency.
Caught on fire or something like that. Exit some way. So there's a whole lot of things, but I think that's probably the main ones. I think we're probably just having a look at a couple of notes of mine, but I think that's probably what we covered is probably some of the main points.
Cool, excellent. Well, I will leave that discussion there. But what we will do now is we'll move on, and I've actually got some photographs and things that we can actually have a look at.
Great.
And just talk through how some of this is
photographs of our build.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Give me just a second here, and I'm going to share my screen.
Beautiful. Excellent.
So let's start off with this one. This is what you would call a skywalk. Is that right?
Yes, obviously we've come around from the side of or the back of the house, up some ledges and along a skywalk. I'm not quite sure where this is actually leading to, but this is the 50 mil mesh that we use.
So this is a lot more solid than what the netting is, and I suppose when you're looking at having something that they're walking through and that sort of stuff, it needs to be a little bit more heavy duty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. So this is structurally supports itself, so it's and
that's a good example there of some of the ledges on that side bit that's going straight up there as well.
Medium to get up to the skywalk, but on the third one up you can see it leads to another skywalk around
around the corner there.
Around the down pipe. So this is quite a complex sort of skywalk with a bit of an observation post type.
Bit of a tower.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the next one. Now that's sort of that's showing how you actually attach it.
Absolutely. So you've got a tech screw going into an S hook. All of these are S hooks, and the clips are all stainless steel.
Yep.
And stainless steel cable. We use the hog clip method. Some other companies use a threading method of the cable, which looks good too. But you can see that the fitting on the fence capping is only on the side of your side, so it's not going through.
A bit Yeah, good. All right. So again, here's another sort of side view of a house with a bit of with some of your ledges and gates and things.
Yeah. The ledges, you can see they're 3 different sizes. We've got a ramp down the bottom that doesn't jut out that far, a medium 300 by 300 in the middle, and then a big viewing one at the top, which is 600 by 300. Now, they're all made out of steel that's been powder coated black, and they've got a grey marine carpet on top. So they are
so they're good for outdoors.
With the gate, it is a bit of a point of difference for us, our gates. They are all made of galv steel, 25 mil steel, not a lighter metal. Our joins are all welded, as you can see. Not plastic. Sorry, hang on a minute. I'll just shut the phone off. Thank you. And the hinge is outdoor hinge. Not an indoor flange hinge. All of those other products tend to break down with tend to come in and fix a lot of gates that have.
I suppose anything that's got plastic in it, the plastic's going to deteriorate outside.
It is. It's brittle. These are really very durable gates. So we've got a D-latch handle, so it can be opened either side. And we've got plastic handles also for grabbing hold of.
Cool.
And then that's the 19 mil netting. You can see along the brickwork, we tend to try and drill in mortar lines if possible, rather than the brick. But if we do drill in brick or cement, it's always plugged. So you can see it in the mortar line.
Cool. Let's have a look at the next one. Oh, this is cute. This little little tunnel that goes across and around.
Yeah, this is a cute solution actually. For this cat, getting access to the side of the house, it was all brick down the side of the house. So, which is expensive to try and get a cat door into. So this was the little window that the cat door was fitted to. Now, we don't do cat doors. You'll need a glazier to do that, but there are people like Scotty from Doors for Paws around the place that do cat doors and other just glass companies, local glass companies. So that goes around past the lounge into a vined area, which is part of the enclosure. And if you look very carefully, it's got steel mesh behind that vine.
Oh, yes.
Right? Now, that is an example of where we would do steel mesh. And then it goes around down to the side of the house.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's it from the other side.
From the other side,
so you can see right down the bottom near that ramp on the bottom, you'll see the access hole into the side of the house. So it was corrugated iron, sorry.
That's fabulous. That's a great way of doing it.
Peter comes up with all these solutions.
He's a smart little chookie, isn't he?
He is. And that's it again. It's the same build. So you can see where it's come forward a bit out from the side.
So it's actually quite a large area once they get out past that little exit.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Right. Now, I suppose this is a little bit more what you're talking about, where you've got a bit more of a tunnel down the side of our property.
It is. I think we may, I'm not sure. No, I don't know whether we did a one at the end of that. Sorry. This one is all powder coated. They came up with the design of metal every so often with the sheeting, and all of that was black powder coated. Cool. So it was a bit of a long area, and look, a lot of these photos are taken prior to people doing them up. Obviously,
exactly,
because at the end of the build.
I was going to say, one of the things with these sorts of things, and I know a lot of people that I've seen that have got side of houses that are not used, the best thing about builds like this is that you suddenly take that side that's not being used and you end up spending quite a lot of time making it look really great.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got one down the side of our house where we've now done decking through the whole thing, and we've got some fake grass, and there's all sorts of other stimulations that you can put into a space like that,
Yeah.
which really does dress them up.
Get a bit nervous about grass, the synthetic grass, because they say it gets hot. That is really only in a big area where perhaps the heat's radiating off the fence. And I've experienced that, but in small little sections you find.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually use synthetic grass on the bottom of our skywalks. And There's a handsome boy. This is a tiny enclosure. This is a porch, would you believe?
Okay, yep.
Right, so what you see here, he's at one perimeter, and then it just goes back, and there's some ledges up. So that chappie has a very small area, but he's happy because he can
And that's sometimes all they need, isn't it? Sometimes all they need is just a very small little, I want to be able to look at the birds. I want to be able to go out and get some fresh air.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So here's another sort of side of house, but again, it's
a wraparound. But look, the netting, you'll see at the corner of the
on the top of the house here.
At the top, you'll see a line, a wired line that runs down
along here.
So the side of the house comes to that point, and then it wraps around into the back of the house, rear yard. So these cats, usually a couple of cats, have a great area. Now,
so that would be the other side of the yard?
Yes, that would be the other side of the yard. So it's a huge one. It's a big area. It's probably, we've used probably 5 metre roll. Our netting comes in different widths: 1.2, 1.8, 3, 5, and 10.
Wow, that's huge.
We we've got bales of it here, and we use what you need. Got the best line for the house. If you just go back to the shot before
that one,
you'll see the front gate, and what we've done is we've done like an extension to a lower front gate. So we built a frame on it. So the gate's still operable. No, in actual fact, the gate now is extended with that frame on the top of it. It's heightened. So you've got the wooden slats. So it was a short gate, and then we've extended it up. So it's a probably 2 metre high gate.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
We can custom build all our gates, and we do that on site.
Yep.
With our welding MIG welder, and so we can do. So
you can make adjustments. Yep. That's great. It really is quite amazing, some of the different ones. I might just go through some of the photos here just as we're talking, just so people can actually have a look. This is a good one where it's come out off the back of the house.
Yeah. You'll see some rails along the lawn, and that is not only for its structural integrity, but it's so you can whippersnip along, and not cut the netting.
Yep.
As I said, our gates, the black spring hinges are, or the black hinges are spring-loaded hinges, so they're self-closing gates. There's another example of coming out of a window.
A window and around to the side,
As small a window as possible when you're thinking about a cat door, because your glazier will come around, measure the window, go away, and make it with, safety glass, and fit the cat door in it, and then come back and replace your whole window.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is just
some great little examples here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Now this is a great one. Because a lot of people sort of think I've got quite a big backyard, but how do I cat-proof it?
Yeah. That's a cantilever across the back, and I think I can see just a small return along that side fence.
Yeah.
Look, really, as you can see, it's tiered up that back area with the soil.
Yep.
You've always got to consider the height of whether your cat can access it. Once again,
Yep.
this is where an owner knows the capability of their cat with jumping.
Yes. Exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
So I saw a build the other day when I was out photographing that actually had that basically the whole perimeter of their backyard. So their cats were quite able to go out and enjoy the backyard without any problems whatsoever, because of course any birds that land in their backyard might have a problem with them, but at least the cats could get out, so that was cool.
Birds are pretty smart. They work out when there's...
They do work it out, don't they?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good examples along here where you almost don't see the netting. Like this is a good example here, the planting that's there. You sort of notice that first, and then you go, oh, look, yeah, there is netting up there.
We have to photograph it so at an angle so people can see what we've built. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lovely one. Very pretty yard.
Yeah. But it just goes to show how ingenious you can be. And this is another good one where the cats, and you were talking about this before, where finding a place where they can actually go and have a look at things. And even if just a little outlet like this where they can come and have a look outside just to see what's going on.
Yeah, so initially that was just a veranda enclosure, but the client decided to do a observation box so that they could get up high. Basically.
It's great, yeah. So no, it's good. Lots of I love the little ramp there. That's very cute.
Yeah, well,
and that's what you're saying too with the using the fake grass on the skywalks.
This ramp, we don't normally cage in our ramps, but this cat had been badly injured and was still in the house recuperating before it was allowed to get out.
Yep.
And so that's to stop the cat from jumping basically first and getting used to being out and rebuilding its strength.
So again, it's really talking about each individual cat, what their needs are, and working out what's going to work best for them.
Absolutely.
And doing what I like to say, which is making the world a better place for all cats, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, look, it certainly is about the cat. This is a beautiful area in Adelaide, Lewiston. Anyhow, it's just in the foothills.
Yep.
Basically we had to get the cat out of a room into a skywalk and then down into a cat enclosure.
Yep.
And you'll see down the bottom that black material there. That's the paw barrier, but we use it also as a snake deterrent.
Right, yep.
Bring it up about 1 metre and clip it onto its own sort of, we don't clip it directly onto the netting, we run extra wire down so it remains sort of taut, and we keep it, we have to do, it's around the corner. So this is an example of an area that is subject to snakes. But the compromise is that this particular cat has magnificent views over Adelaide.
Yeah. What a lucky cat.
Yeah, we do a few lucky cats with great views. Once again, here's, that back one, just back one. That's another paw barrier area, and you can see how we've sort of made a flap so where the gate gap is, that it's flapped over there. So there's that at either end. Now we might do that. That might have been done for a dog, or that might be in an area where there are snakes. Yeah.
And it's sad, but that's something that we do have to consider in South Australia, is that a lot of cats get bitten by snakes.
Exactly. And
so, there's some work being done.
This is Shaz, and Shaz doesn't particularly like heights, poor girl, but she's on a proper ladder, and we do work to the standard. If it is high build, we will work out whether it's above working at height level for us or not, for our staff. So this was, I don't know whether you've got an end shot, but this is it in process. There's the end.
There's the end,
Yeah. So, you know,
That's great.
it's not an easy product to work with because everything gets caught on it, Melissa.
I could imagine.
Right?
Yeah, and
So,
I know we've done a bit of DIY with netting, and yes, I know exactly what you mean.
mm,
It kind of, when it's all together, it's kind of it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. It's kind of, where does the end and begin?
yeah,
So yeah, not the easiest product to work with.
yeah.
Another little sky ramp there.
Yeah, that one came out because the side of the house was not a lot to see from the side
Yep.
of the house. So we've put some ledges up that lead up into a skywalk that was, if you go back one slide, the skywalk is attached to their patio
Yes.
out the
Yep.
back. And that's where the cats can be part of, can watch their
Yep.
owners have dinner outside and whatever, or entertain.
Yep.
And I would say that those cats would spend the majority of their time up in that skywalk.
Yep. Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense, because it's a really good spot for them to view everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice big backyard again there.
Nice big backyard. This is about the fourth build at different houses on that client. This one's under a little undercroft area
Yep.
from the house. On the far side, there was steel mesh.
Yep.
And then on the other sides, because there was a vine growing there,
Yep.
and the other sides. And this is a zipper. Instead of a gate, you've got a
This
zipper.
one? Yep.
Yep.
Cool. So it really is looking at what's going to suit your home. This is a really good one here, where you can see that it just blends in so nicely. It's wonderful.
Yeah, this is a photograph that was behind me when we were talking
Before. Yeah.
You can see that we have brought it up with a small return over the top of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Now this one is 2 passion fruit vines, and we've done this cantilever.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Then the rest is netted.
Netting. Yeah.
And the cantilever, we've fitted a steel mesh onto the cantilever. So in the end, that will become sort of, it'll grow up through that steel mesh and become like a little arbor.
Yeah. That's great.
That one was clever.
There's some hard work going on.
Oh, look at Shaz again. She is amazing. If you're lucky enough to meet Shaz, she is such a positive person. We are so blessed to have her. And we've got Simon, our welder, in the team.
Yeah.
We are really lucky. We have 2 fabulous staff members.
That's great.
That work with Peter. This
Fabulous.
is one when I was just that one before I spoke about the cats, that we built a separate one in this property up in the hills.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And we built a separate little area just in another part of the veranda, just so the cat could have some respite.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. And here's a good example. Now, you look at that balcony and you actually cannot see.
Well,
you've got to really zoom in to find it, don't you?
We've actually set it back from that overhanging piece, because working on that overhanging piece would have been a bit precarious.
Yeah.
So that's got a zipper panel in it. You can just see that on the right-hand side.
Yep.
So yes, you can't see it, and
great.
And if you want unobstructed views, then you can go through the zipper and stand at that.
Yeah.
And that has views over Adelaide. That's Seacombe Heights.
Lovely.
Yeah. About to build another one there at the back of that house.
And again, a bit of a wraparound.
Yeah, that's the little respite area I was talking about.
Oh, perfect.
And he's got, what we've done.
He's got his little door.
Yeah, Peter's put a piece of wood in.
Yep.
And the windows enabled us for it to go up, and then we put a bit of wood in and cat door. We use Petway cat doors. They are absolutely fantastic. Great little company up in Gold Coast.
Excellent.
Queensland. Yep.
Oh, here's one of your locks that you use for the getting through the gates.
Yeah, this is the D-latch. Sometimes you'll see just a barrel bolt. But the problem with the barrel bolt is you can't unlock it from the other side if you're coming back through it. So this is it's got a hole in it so you can put a padlock through the D part of the latch, and then there's a handle on the other side so you can open it both ways.
That makes it very easy access.
And they're the hinges.
Yep.
Outdoor hinges. Peter being a builder's not going to use anything that's not to code. Put it
not to code, yeah. So there's some really good examples there, and I thought this one was quite fascinating, the way that the tree's been done. I'm just going to come in a bit closer on here.
Yeah, tree wrap over.
Isn't that amazing? So the tree's coming through the top.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes.
Talk about some ingenious methods of getting around things.
Just go back the last slide.
Yep.
That's a custom gate. You can see how we've chopped it to make it fit in that narrow side. So that's a custom made gate.
That's great.
And that's cantilever yard.
Full yard, yep. And that's the thing. I mean, that's a smaller yard to where I was yesterday, but it's amazing how simple that particular design is, but works perfectly.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, you just got to be careful about what's growing over the fence for cantilever.
Yeah. And again, some little panels on the wall there for them to be sitting on.
Ledges.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this has probably given lots of ideas to a lot of people. Look at some happy cats out there.
Well, this is the first stepping out of cats, and to capture that is amazing. Are we really allowed to go outside? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Happy cats.
Very happy cats.
That's great.
Another balcony. You can see that under the balustrade, Peter's put a steel rail along there, so we're not drilling into the tiles.
Yeah.
We try and, keep it as minimal as possible.
Yeah. And this one I thought was great as well, because this is perfect. If you've just got one cat and you've got one window in the house, this is a really great solution. Like, it's so simple, but so easily done.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. So the ledges are located so on that. As I said, it's a very strong 50 mil steel mesh that we use, so we can attach the ledge. They are wooden ledges that have the carpet on it, well, the synthetic grass.
Excellent.
Another, just go back on that one, sorry. That one you can see, that's a custom gate.
Yep.
And we've meshed, the owner wanted it meshed. Yep. And you can see the run coming out. It goes along
the bottom
and it heads to a Meow Manor house.
Fabulous.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you've got any of the other ones of the cat walking along the grass to a
I'll have to have a look and see whether we do.
That's all right.
That
one is, well, there's a Meow Manor we've shifted to. This is a beautiful house at Encounter Bay. It's the original farmhouse. So once again, she didn't want anything to detract. They've completely restored the house. It is absolutely magnificent. Great big verandas right around.
Yeah.
She had a Meow Manor down the backyard that was, well, she had to take the two cats out to this manor house.
Yep.
And being at Encounter Bay with the bluff in the distance and on top of a hill, it was windy.
Yep.
So we bought the Meow Manor inside. We actually assembled it in the panels and then reassembled it inside. All the steelwork's been powder coated.
Yep.
So the cats have their Meow Manor inside, and it goes around to half of the front veranda. You can't see it from the street.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that was exciting. That's the front.
Yeah,
front of the place. You can see.
That's wonderful.
So they come out the lounge room window. She's yet to get that window, cat door put in the window, but then around they go.
Lovely.
The side of the house. And that was a balcony decking we did.
That one.
Now, this one, we garden enclosure. Now this one is on a farm down near Two Wells, and we built this first section up to the skywalk. We built that originally, but there are 8 cats in this family, And of course, when you get up and you're the boss cat around the place, you get up, you can sit in the skywalk and block everybody else.
Yeah.
So we built this section that's nearest to the camera. We built that as an extension. And
so this part here is the extension?
Yes, that's the extension. And then if you've got another picture of a whole lot of activity, planks and ledges and whatever, we built that, that's it. This is the enclosure that we built over by the home paddock. The sheep are in that paddock. And so then we built all the playground for them because they weren't using that cubby.
Yeah.
So they weren't going over there. So basically this is, look, this is an example of one of our clients having an enclosure, seeing how it fits, seeing what the cats use, and then coming up with stage 2 of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, isn't it? It's, you really can sort of, once you've actually got it all working, you're going to see, well, in that particular instance, it was a traffic problem.
Yeah, a traffic problem.
Having that many cats, and there was a traffic problem getting in and out. So you have to come up with some solutions around how that can work. Yeah. Lucky cats. I want to live in some of these places. I love this skywalk though.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, a great skywalk.
Yeah. No, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So many really good ideas in all of these. Yeah. And look at this happy cat.
Oh, yeah. That cat's sitting on a monkey tree. Well, we do have
that one there, yeah.
Occasionally install a monkey tree, but they're a New Zealand company that make monkey trees. So, yes, very happy on top of the top ledge. That's what they usually like to do.
Yep.
Get up there and stare.
Yep. I always say cats are Zen masters. I swear that they meditate more than any other animal on the planet.
Yeah.
They take their time and they like to just have a look around. There's another one up on his thing. Isn't he gorgeous?
Yeah, he's beautiful. He's beautiful.
So we've got a few photos here of them just up on their ledges, which is great.
Yep. Yeah.
Little monkey tree in there again.
Yeah, it brings a smile to your face.
It does, doesn't it?
So, okay, we've got Chooks. This is Simon and Peter. And a chook came. Often we have supervising cats sitting inside the window, but this chook flew up onto the fence and
started to watch,
wanting to join in the process of what's going on here. Just gorgeous.
Oh, that's so funny.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky to be doing what we do.
Yeah. And I love this, how there's actually, you know, you can see that they would just love these sorts of environments. Yeah. Look at that view. He wouldn't look at it like that view.
Both of these last photos, you notice, if you just go back, you notice that where there's a view, we've gone straight up and across. The reason why we've done that not at an angle is because looking from the inside out, you have less, it's even less visible than with it at an angle.
Yeah, so no, that makes sense.
Involved, we try and keep that view for our clients.
Lovely, lovely.
Oh, that
lovely cats there. And again, here's another little wraparound.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's great.
You can see how the side of the house is a bit of a enclosed. You know, it's a narrow.
Not a lot to look at. Yep.
So
and a lot of houses these days, like where we live, the side of the houses are a bit further away, but a lot of houses these days are almost next to each other. Like there's not a lot of space down the side of the house, but it's a good place for them to actually be able to go and have a bit of a run around. And I can see you've got some ledges in there as well. But just by having that little wrap around, it really does give it a completely additional aspect for the cats to reason to go out there.
Absolutely, yeah. They're up high and they've got a view.
Yep. And another tunnel is going out.
This is the one that I was talking about earlier, that led to Minya Manor.
Perfect. Oh, there he's going out. Lovely.
Beautiful cat.
There's some beautiful cats that you do some with. That's Toby. That's Naughty Toby.
That's Naughty Toby, isn't he? Gorgeous. Look at him.
He looks like he's definitely enjoying his outdoor space.
Absolutely, yeah. It's lovely to get messages back from our clients telling us about the cats and sending some photos through.
Oh, that's always wonderful.
That.
Well, we might leave our chat with Toby.
Yes.
Because he's so beautiful. But I really do appreciate your time. I think being able to talk about some of these issues around how to find the right space, what to look for, and of course, you know, people can DIY if you've got a handy hubby or if you're a bit handy on the tools yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's fabulous to know that there's people like you around that really specialise in this area. So, I mean, we're lucky that we've got you guys in South Australia, but I know that there's people through CatPads that, not CatPads,
CatNets have a lot of Australia-wide installers.
Yeah.
We do buy all our netting from CatNets, and they're just such a great company to deal with. So if you are looking at doing a DIY, then have a look on CatNet's website. So
and it's surprisingly cheap. Like, we were really surprised. We've got on our back deck, I think it was a 3 metre by 10 metre piece of netting that had the edging on it. So it was really simple to install, and it probably took us 2 days once we worked out what we were doing, because, you know, sometimes when you're DIYing it takes a bit longer. But it's surprisingly economic if you are going to do it yourself.
I mean,
not everybody's got that option.
There are always additional things that you'll need to build it. So you're buying the base material for reasonable price, but the netting is always the cheapest aspect.
Yes, it is.
All the other fittings that you need to budget for when you're doing that. And tools for doing that. So there's a little bit extra involved, but if you are handy, look, doesn't matter what you build it out of, chicken wire or whatever. If you can enclose your cat, if your cat's outdoors, it's probably going to be a bit happier, but it needs to be enclosed.
Needs to be safe.
And needs to be safe. But
that's for sure.
Use our website. You're more than happy to get some ideas from our website if you want to do that. But if you want us to come around, we do free on-site appraisals. As long as you've got in mind that your budget isn't going to be a few $100s. It is.
Well, that's right. You know,
a little bit more than that. If you've got between 1,000 and 2,000, you'll get a really
something decent.
Built. And we'd be more than happy to come around. It's just a matter of going to our website, which is catpadenclosures.com.au, or give me a ring. I'm Jenny on 0417 861 781. Give me a ring, and then we usually do our quoting on Saturdays because we build these full time right through the week. So,
and I think that's really important too, the fact that Peter is actually a builder. So because he's kind of attaching this to dwellings, it's actually really important, if you're going to get somebody in to do it, get someone in that specialises in it, that knows what they're doing, that can work within the property that you've got. It's great if you're doing it yourself, and you know, I'm lucky that I've got a hubby that can help me, because I tend to boss him around a fair bit as to how we're going to do things. But not everybody's lucky enough to do that. And I know particularly for some of the cat breeders and that sort of thing, they don't necessarily have the people around them that have the skills to be able to do it. So being able to have this sort of special area that, you know, we can actually call on in South Australia is just sensational.
Well, we've concentrated on South Australia. We're part of Brand SA, so we try and use, we do have to use some interstate businesses, but the rest of all of our materials we buy locally.
And you've done some work for the Monarto Zoo too, haven't you?
We have. We built. We did donated an enclosure area for them. We built an enclosure at the end of their nature walk, and what they're encouraging is you can plant flowering natives and have the birds in your yard,
Yep.
But if you've got a cat, you can also have a cat, but it needs to be in an enclosure.
Perfect.
So that's what we've got at Monarto. We've built the outside mesh enclosure, another part of our donation program to RSPCA.
Yep.
And the two enclosures straight inside their main doors. You'll see
Fabulous.
two black powder-coated netted enclosures.
Yep.
And of course, we've supported Animal Welfare League.
Yep.
Need to catch up with Richard Muscle on what he's doing. He's been a very active CEO for Animal Welfare League.
Oh, good.
And they've developed their property out by Edinburgh.
Yep.
And yeah, we'd like to support all of those organisations.
Yep.
How we can.
Fabulous. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jenny. I'm sure we'll chat again.
It's been fun.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, Melissa.